Hi, thanks for coming today. We are doing a presentation on the flowers of Como Park Conservatory. So we will just jump in. This is another one that I have not done a lot of personal work with these particular plants, so I am no expert. What I have in way of information is purely from the internet. It is an image search as well, which means that not all of the information may be accurate. It may also mean that there, there are some misidentifications. That could be the case. Unfortunately, I can't back up my information here. So if this is wrong, please do reach out. Leave me a message. This is what I have found from the internet. And so this is my best effort here in way of this project. It is a little bit longer, but it is some very, very basic information. So hopefully we can just get right through it. The flowers of Como Park Conservatory, and that is down in the Twin Cities metro area of Minnesota. This is a pink anthurium. So these have long waxy leaves and they are called spathes, and they have a spike in the middle that is called a spadix. They are native to South American rainforests, prefer warm, humid environments, and the spathes last for several weeks, so they are considered long blooming. This is an African costus, or also known as the African princess, is native to tropical Central Africa. This is the tamarind flower. These are edible. They are native to tropical Africa. They resemble small orchids. And they are also found in Asia, Australia, and South America. They're a little droopy. This isn't necessarily the best picture for identification reasons to actually see the shape of the flowers. And that is my fault. This is the photo that I took. So um, these are African spiral ginger. They are grown from rhizomes. They are 2 to 3 years um, old in their maturity. These are the Theobroma cacao tree blooms, and they are the source of chocolate. They are native to rainforests in South and Central America, and they need warm and moist conditions to survive. This is a tree, so not there are blooms on the tree, but very pretty. These are a few different names. One of them was the porcelain rose, native to Southeast Asia, and it likes warm climates and moist soil. All right, this is called Calathea warsecwiki. I apologize, I cannot say it. AKA jungle velvet. Calathea warsecwiki. Where's the whiskey? That that one we might have to double check the internet on. Jungle velvet, native to tropical Costa Rica, Central America. Um, and they are white blossoms, very pretty. This is Ixora, jungle flame, jungle geranium. This is also vine-like. It's got a lot of blooms, a lot of blossoms. This one was more difficult to identify online, so this one could definitely use a double check. I landed on this and it looked comparable, but not exact. So this is one that could be looked at again. This is because it doesn't look like a geranium in any fashion. If perhaps if the blooms were a little bit bigger, and maybe these are just not at their peak, or they're, past their peak, or but this is what the internet came up with. This is best guess. Ixora, jungle flame, jungle geranium. They like shade or partial shade. This was called orange tulip ginger, native to the tropics of South America. Warm, moist climates with partial to full shade is their preference, and it produces bracts or cones that flower. You can see this is the flower blossom here. This is kind of the cone. This one looks like it's going to bloom at some point. It did say like only one or two blooms at a time, and that you can see is kind of over here, another one. So this is the Clousey orchid. It is an epiphyte. It said that it can bloom straight off of trees, but it also said that it was terrestrial as well. So, and that's what my experience with orchids have been, but they also can crawl is the impression for some of them. Um, I don't know too much about orchids or about this particular species. Native to South America, prefers moist climates. This is the Zygopetalum orchid. It is native to South America. Is the pink and white lady slipper, Minnesota state flower. It is wet growing. It's considered an orchid and it needs constant moisture. It is the preferred, apologies, it prefers bright and indirect light. This is called a chocolate orchid. They flower large sprays of blossoms a few times a year, 50% humidity or higher, and they have pseudobulbs, is what it was called, where they've got bulbs kind of near the base. And they are said to be relatively nice for beginners. That they are meant to have these large blooms and be pretty easy, is what the internet said for those. This is a red bromelade. This is one that it wasn't, I believe it wasn't sure. It said there wasn't a Latin name, and I did not write that one down. Indirect light and moderate to high humidity for this. Brome is a grass, so we could look and see if the structure is might be comparable to some sort of grass, but that's yeah, that's something that could be reflected on. Maybe that's another presentation. This is called heliconia. The bracts aren't necessarily flowing out in the full parrot fashion that they can be in, but they do have the bracts that act as the flowers. They like full sun to partial shade. They are native to Central and South America, and they grow in clumps or colonies. Yellow walking irises. These prefer full sun to partial shade. They have baby plants that grow along the stalk, and the stalk bends and the babies take roots, thus walking, hence the name. This is Queenie Purple Hollyhock per the internet. It did have a few different photos associated with the hollyhocks, and so I did actually have to click deeper on this one, and I found a separate website, so I can't verify it per se because it had multiple types of flowers, and flowers are not my specialty. I guess you could say I was trained in a sector of environmentalism first and foremost, and so this is not my specialization. But I am giving it the good old college try. So Queen Purple Hollyhock, it prefers full sunlight, average to moist conditions. It is a perennial, and it's also known as the Althea rosea. This is a leopard lily. It likes full sun and is well suited to well-drained soil. It is a perennial, and it goes for zones 4 through 10 in the United States, We have the zoning system that's not detailed on this slide, but the farther north you are, the higher the numbers are. If you go closer to the equator, if you go down south, the lower the numbers are. So these plants can grow from 2 to 3 feet in height. Tropical water lilies, they prefer full sun and they bloom in the morning and close in the afternoon, or some types do. These were photographed in the afternoon, and so well, mid-afternoon. So I cannot attest to if these ones did close up or no. Garden phlox. They are great for butterflies and hummingbirds. These are hydrangeas. They like full sun to partial shade, and they can be found in zones 3 to 8. These are hardy hibiscus, and they also like full sun in zones 4 to 9. We're higher up in that zone. Como is in, I think, zone 8, maybe 8 or 9. And again, these were taken at the Como Conservatory. So these ones were outdoors. You can see the blue skies in the background. The first part of the presentation was indoors. This one was called Trailing Lobelia, and it is full sun to partial shade as a preference in way of growing conditions. These are sunflowers. The internet quoted them as being Mexican sunflowers, closely related to oxeye sunflowers. They are good for butterflies and bees. And these actually have bugs on them, and they have red aphids along them. So that is definitely uh, a pest that can be treated. Any questions?